Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome to the demo for Dead Season, a new turn-based tactical light zombie survival game from Snailbite and Iceberg Interactive. Iceberg Interactive, of course, being a very prolific publisher who's done a few games that I've touched on in the past, most notably Strange Horticulture and Maho Kenshi. Though I do believe this is Snailbite's first game. They were kind enough to send me a slightly early copy of this demo, which should be publicly available by the time you're actually watching this. So I figured, what the heck? This one's already on my watch list anyway. Let's go ahead and kick the tires. See how this thing plays. That said, I have already dabbled a bit with it. I did play through the first scenario, just to get a feel for it. But I will be going into the subsequent scenarios blind. Oh, yeah, and let's max out that difficulty. As aforementioned, this is definitely a game on the lighter side of the tactical spectrum. Still fun, though. Oh no! A zombie! Not to worry, we have a conveniently placed tutorial pipe right here. But yes, for the most part, the game plays fairly straightforward, like a standard XCOM-like. You've got your basic generic action point pool, 4 points in this case, which does feel a bit low. But I suppose it also does add to the general tenseness as you start seeing more and more zombies pile up throughout scenarios. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Good old tutorial pipe. Savor that guaranteed hit while you can. UI's pretty straightforward. Top bars are health, bottom bars are AP, which are used for everything. Movement, attacking, interacting. So yeah, you can already see the mechanics at their core are pretty basic. It's your pretty stereotypical XCOM-lite. It's definitely got a bit of a board game feel, which I don't say derogatively. It does remind me of games like Zombicide. You're thrust into a scenario, given a win condition, and then essentially tasked to complete it as quickly as possible before you're overwhelmed by the infinitely respawning foes. Another one. Shoot him! Wait, he doesn't look like one of those freaks. Hey there, are you a freak? No. See? Stand where you are. Is that blood on your clothes? Yeah, I was attacked on my way here. But I'm telling you, I'm fine. Do you mind taking that gun out of my face? Argle blargle. They're coming. Quick, help me barricade the door. And we've got our party. Not sure if it ever changes up, but these are our 4 basic starters. And this touches on the barricade mechanic. Oh yes, also the throwing mechanic. which is very basic, but I've got to say, a lot of games don't have that. So I very much appreciate that they actually thought to include it. Though I will also say it's very generous of them to assume that characters always catch things tossed to them in horror movie scenarios. Would have been a lot more genre accurate to give us a chance to fumble it. Drop it at her feet, kick it across the room, watch it slide down an inexplicably open sewer grate. And speaking of inexplicably open sewer grates, yeah, that's a zombie spawn point there. We gotta watch out for those. You do not want to be standing near them at the end of a turn. Oh, and there's our noise tutorial. And again, pretty straightforward. Whenever we do something noisy, it goes on that counter up there, and if that counter reaches 5, then all zombies on the map get a buff, and I believe it increases spawns on the next turn, but there may be some random elements there. Oh, and the counter resets each turn. Phew, that was close. That ain't gonna hold them for too long. Let's move. Okay. Tutorial complete. Which, of course, covers our very, very basics. Though there are some additional mechanics that'll pop up in Scenario 1. I believe there are 16 narrative scenarios planned for the final game. So a bit on the shorter side. Daymare. With the first rays of sunlight, it quickly became obvious that the situation was a lot worse than anyone could ever imagine. Holy shit. Just look at all this mess. Where the hell is the goddamn army? Can anyone hear me? Please respond. Does that thing even work? Alright, people. We're already close to the police station. Let's move. And Scenario 1. Basic evac mission. Just gotta get to the evac zone on the far side of the map. Which, of course, is easier said than done. Especially with all these spawn zones we're already seeing. Another one right there. We'll start off with the obvious. We'll go for the easily accessible items right near where we came in. But we'll also make sure we travel as a loose-knit group. I actually did lose someone when I was playtesting earlier. Made the mistake of splitting into 2 smaller groups so we could loot faster. But, no. RNG is not your friend in this game. Alright, let's bring Holly up. And there's our tutorial for line of fire. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. We're gonna bring Holly up, pop a few shots at this one. Hopefully take it out, clear the path to this closer car trunk. Then we'll hook off to the right, push towards that other car. We do have to keep moving, though. Zombies spawn every round, so things will get hectic. And jammed. Great. Off to a fantastic start here. Yeah, there's no ammo counter. There's no finite ammo. But they do keep firearms under control with the noise counter and the jam mechanic. Thankfully, standard zombies only move 2 spaces, so you can plan around that. Unless they're enraged. If they're enraged, they move faster. And there are also other special zombies that can also move faster. There we go. Zombie down. Let's push up on that trunk, start hooking right. Yeah, what I did my first time through was split into 2 groups. One pushing further down to that police car there, the other going into the restaurant. But the group on the street ended up getting utterly mobbed, and I ended up using a chainsaw and rifle so heavily that it enraged the ever-growing mob, and they tore poor Paige there to pieces. Hopefully she'll fare slightly better this time. A biggin, or a corpulent corpse. Most zombies drop in 1 hit. Those guys take 3. And there's our tutorial on attacks of opportunity, which of course is more a zombie thing than a survivor thing. Knife to meet ya. A fire axe, that's new. Solid hit chance. And there's our tutorial for passing items, sure. We're just gonna ignore the police car over there. I'm not gonna get Paige killed again. Well, not that way anyway. If Paige gets killed, it'll be because I did some other stupid thing. But not that particular one. Oh, I should note, the loot spots are randomized. I got completely different items my first time through. So once again, you are very much at the mercy of the RNG. Just got to adapt. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Ooh, fire axe too. Nice. Yeah, we'll take it. Honestly, hit chances in this game are so unreliable that anything over 50% is pretty fantastic. Alright, let's push the diner. Your default starting gear is like 30% on the pistol and knife, and 40% on Matt's hammer. Oh, which I should also note, you do default back to after each mission, which is a little disappointing. I mean, I would like more sense of progression between these scenarios. But again, very much a board game feel, very much a strategy/tactical light sort of scenario-based game. Handcrafted challenge scenarios as opposed to a singular overarching narrative CRPG. Oh. What was that? Also, there's another special zombie over there. The lightning bolt denotes a runner. Oh, for goodness sake. As I mentioned before, the RNG in this game is not your friend. Hope for success, plan for failure. This guy slowed us down, but thankfully, with our whole group here, we can easily drop him next round. In theory. Whoa, they are massing up over there. Fortunately, they mostly seem to be going around the long way. Oh, that is beautiful. Sawed-off shoddy. Yeah, I got one of those last time around. 2 shots, area effect, but very low chance to hit, unless you're at point blank. Nice. No chance to jam on the shoddy, but they do balance it by forcing you to reload after every 2 shots. Perfect. But yeah, you can definitely see how Paige easily ended up getting overwhelmed, pushing for that police car. Though again, yeah, a lot of it does obviously come down to RNG. There are obviously spawn points on the other side of the building as well. You know, some of them are pumping out zombies between us and the evac zone. We're just kind of lucking out a bit here that the majority of the ones spawning right now are coming out on the side of the building where they can't easily reach us. Ooh. Though we are starting to see some slight shifts in that pathfinding. About half that group is splitting off now, heading for the back door. I am surprised we're not seeing more special zombies. We're on max difficulty. I actually saw more on normal difficulty. He said, as another corpulent corpse clambered into view. Ooh, sports drink. Interesting. Okay, and that is definitely just background noise. Scope, of course. Well, that is completely useless on its own. So unless we stumble onto a rifle here, we're not going to get much use out of that, and then it'll go away once we finish this scenario. Maybe we'll chance that white car just out the back door. I was going to skip it, but maybe we'll get lucky. Alley-oop. We are getting a pretty sizable horde building up in this back alley, but we've got a couple of rounds. I think we can chance the trunk. Ooh. That is slightly nerve-wracking. Random acts of violence. Oh, for goodness sake. RNG is not your friend. Travis? Finally. Jeez. Which, yeah, goes right back to my original point about not splitting up into groups of 2 if you can help it. It is shockingly easy for 2 characters to whiff every one of their attacks. Let's clear the trunk and book it. We do not want to tangle with that horde. Crowbar. Interesting. Slight step down from the axe, but not bad. Nice. And we'll obviously skip the cab. I would actually go for it if stuff carried over. Lovely. That buys us some breathing room. Holly will obviously lag behind, pop a shot at anyone who gets too close. Oh, hey. That's a slight issue. We have a runner right in front of us. Just keep moving for now. Oh, and a biggin. RNG is being cruel. Shit, that alarm is too freaking loud. We better hurry before we have even more problems. And there's our last minute twist. Yeah, the impression I get is that most scenarios will have one. Whole horde is energized, so that is +1 AP. Or in the case of the runner, +2. Oh my goodness. Right, and the alarm is still blaring, so the zombies are basically just permanently enraged. Runner out. Though we've still got that big one. That's going to take some whittling. It has 3 AP, so we should be fine. Bigging out. So just one zombie left between us and the exit. I call shotgun. Eh. Nah, we'll take the hit. Just want to make sure we hit that exit before more spawn right in front of us. Ow. There's our panic tutorial. Nice. It's essentially just a stacking series of negative modifiers on our 2-hit chances based on the various negative events that transpire. Though I will say, combined with your innate low hit chances, it does very quickly lead to a slippery slope once a character is in peril. That contributed heavily to Paige's death in an alternate world. And book it. Let's get off the grid. Okay. And we've got level ups. Our one persistent point of progression, I believe, since items reset. Though, as aforementioned, most of the initial effects are pretty tame. Though they do get slightly more useful as we get further up the list here. Oh, yes, also, all of the skill charts are identical with the sole exception, weirdly, of this one slot here, which does appear to be unique per character. I'm really hoping they'll give us more variety in the finished game, provide each of these survivors with a slightly more defined tactical identity. That said, we'll keep it simple. We'll have Holly act as our field medic, and then the rest of our characters will either grab Stone Skin or possibly Sticky? Yeah, I guess we'll go with Sticky. I don't think I've ever seen an enemy actually land a crit. And for our tier 2... Interesting. Oh yes, and there's our respec option, which does cost a point, so you can respec if you're not happy with your skills later in the campaign, but you have to pay for it. You know what, we'll just keep this simple. I'll grab Gunsmith on Holly, since she does start with that pistol, and then we'll give all the other characters their unique tier 2 skills, plus Sticky, I guess. Odds of it actually triggering are pretty slim, but I could definitely see it saving someone's bacon. So for Matt, that means Dash, which grants a little more leeway with long moves. And Paige gets Sticky as well as Slick. That is quite a combo, which grants her a chance to move past enemies without provoking. Interesting. And finally Travis, who picks up Sticky and Kick Ass, which has a 1 in 5 chance of refunding AP on melee kills. Not exactly a game changer, but certainly good to have. And see, that does give him some slight tactical identity. I'd love to see more of that in the launch build. Let's hit scenario 2. Haven't actually gotten to see this one yet. The Harvest. Looking for a detour, the survivors found themselves in the middle of a country road. surrounded by zombies with no other option but to fight their way to escape. I thought we were headed for the police station. Guess we're taking the long way? Or maybe the demo just skips around. Just look at all those abandoned cars. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Holy shit. Later. Do you think they're still following us? Yeah, we're ahead of them by a few minutes, but I'm sure they keep chasing us, unless something... Not again. That harvester over there has blocked the road. Let's see if we can get around it. Can you make more noise, please? Not my fault those stupid hinges are older than dinosaur turds. Quiet. Can you hear that? Fucking birds. I almost thought it was... infected! Quick, Holly, Matt, you two go check if it's possible to move that damn harvester. We'll hold them off. Oh, shoot. So are they... Right. Yeah, they are. After all my talk back in Scenario 1 about not splitting the group, they just force split us. Though it sounds like Travis and Paige will rejoin us once we get this thing moving, so... that's all the more reason to move quick. Also, yeah, I think this must be like Scenario 4 or 5. Oh, that's new. 2 health. Some sort of special radiation-based ability, perhaps? And we've got a chainsaw. Fantastic. Well, that will make things exceptionally easier. At least until we're out of gas. And a precision rifle. Very nice. The RNG is being kind. Which is good, because, yeah, the impression I'm getting here is that this is definitely supposed to be like Scenario 3 or 4. The story does seem to have kind of jumped forward a bit. Oh, for goodness sake. Really missing that scope we found back in Scenario 1. That's fine. We're almost on the harvester. We'll prioritize getting this thing moving. That should, hopefully get the rest of our guys on the field. Otherwise, we're gonna have some serious issues here. Oh, of course. Alright, fair enough. That's like 2 turns. Let's thin them out. Hey, there we go. Okay, we do have a fence here. Oh, shoot. But we cannot target people in the fields. Interesting. I chain, I saw, I conquered. I don't know. He wasn't up to our caliber. Ooh, that's a runner. I didn't even see him coming. Inappropriate. And there they are. Fantastic. With our exit grid in view. Not too far either. Just gotta run the gauntlet here. And yes, I do recall that harvester scene from the teaser trailer they released. Though I don't think the trailer showed quite that many zombies cropping up. Oh, what's that? Well, let's worry about these guys before we worry about that one. Clear the runner. Oh, shit. Right. I forgot the chainsaw makes noise. Okay, that's not great, but okay. You know what? That could have been worse. That actually wasn't that bad. Boy. Yeah, those starter knives are rough. Base 30% hit chance, so you can see why I was so excited by the 60 on axes. There it is. Okay, so they do not explode. Rather, they dissipate into poisonous gas. Good to know. I really hope that's not ongoing. Let's clear a path. Poison zombie. But we should be long gone before he reaches us. Oh! Okay, well I guess that's his thing. Good to know. Holly? Thank you. Motorcycle jacket. Yeah, I found that when I was playtesting. It provides some small amount of protection, but only if actively equipped. Oh, right, I guess I never really talked about that. The inventory slots on the bottom. There are 2 active equipment slots. That's where we've got our weapons. But then there's also backpack slots on the right and left. Those are just for storing and carrying items. You cannot actively use items in those slots without spending an action point to shuffle them into a hand slot. So in Matt's case, he's carrying the jacket, but not actively wearing it. I would have equipped it, but didn't want to burn the AP. Because we are pretty much done here. And we're good. Okay. And that's where it ends. Fair enough. I've already got this one wishlisted, so we'll just skip that step. But yeah, that is the demo for Dead Season. Tutorial plus 2 playable scenarios, and as I said before, I believe there's 16 scenarios in total. And while obviously I personally prefer more open campaigns or open world style games, I like this. It's not bad. It's definitely a shorter, simpler, strategy-light type title. But you know, sometimes that's what you're in the mood for. Sometimes you don't want to sit down for a 50 or 100 plus hour campaign. This is very much a game that you would play when you have like 30 minutes to kill when you're on your lunch break, or just need something quick and satisfying. You've got 16 story-driven scenarios. I assume they get more difficult as you go in. Possibly longer as well, though that first scenario actually took us longer to beat than the second one. The second one was only like 15 minutes. I think that first one ran 20, 25. And then, of course, while the general basics are fairly simplistic, fairly straightforward once you understand them, they do mix things up with the more varied enemy types than you'd see in a conventional zombie game. You've got those special zombies with their various special abilities, plus that enraged modifier, which can be triggered both by noise and, as we saw in Scenario 1, by certain special events. Based on the trailer, it also looks like we may eventually have to fight humans as well, but I'm not entirely certain on that. I suppose really the big question is whether we'll be able to hold any sway on the narrative at all. From what we're seeing here, it looks like it's a fairly linear story from start to finish. I suppose that would be a bit of a concern, since that would potentially limit replayability. But that said, most games from Iceberg tend to be pretty cheap. I think Strange Horticulture was like $15. I'd say I got my money's worth on that one. That said, this was Dead Season by Snailbite and Iceberg Interactive. I personally enjoyed it, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And of course, if you found this game at all intriguing, I strongly encourage you to go check the demo out for yourself, or swing by their store page on Steam. Maybe add the game to your wish list. As always, links are in the description.